Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my videos. And definitely hit that bell icon to get notified on all my new content. Now let's get on to the show. So hey everybody. I know everybody's been going goo goo and gaga over this new 4K Pro box, and I just thought it would be really cool to do a teardown video. Something different. You want to see what's inside this. We're going to go over exactly how it comes apart. I've already taken this one apart, and I'm going to go ahead and do it again. What you want is, the tools you're going to need is, you're probably going to need a regular flathead screwdriver. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver because there's 4 screws under this rubber square padding. You're going to need some kind of needle nose. I use hemostats. This is for the 2 cables that are going to be once you take this apart. And you're going to see this comes apart pretty easily. So normally what you're going to do when you first get it, you're going to take that flathead screwdriver, you're going to get it up underneath that rubber, and you're going to pry it off, and then slowly continue to pry it. This is coming apart pretty easy because I've already done it. You're just going to slowly pry the rubber piece until you get all the way around and get that rubber piece off. So we're taking that off. Rubber piece is now off. That's the first step. Step number 1, get that rubber piece off. Next step is you're going to see 4 screw holes. You got to take those Phillips screws out. Make sure you put them back in nice and tight. You don't want them in loose when you put it back together. I'll explain why later in the video as we take this apart and I show you what we're looking at inside. So we're going to get 1 screw out of here. Let's get another screw. And yes, this box does still work after it's been taken apart and put back together. I am not ruining the box at all. The box is still perfectly functional, and it also really doesn't even look like it's been taken apart much, other than maybe a small tiny scratch that I messed up. When I first took it apart, I scratched a little tiny spot right there on the bottom where nobody sees. So, you know, it's not a big deal. Funny thing is, when I did this video already, and I had my software set in the wrong resolution, so it was set like if it was in a phone resolution, so it looked completely wrong because I had it set for doing YouTube short. So that's one of the reasons why it's already been taken apart, because I have to do this video all over again, which kind of sucks, but you know, it is what it is. So what we've got here is we have the screws are out of the bottom, and you're going to see that all you have to do is kind of gently pull it apart. You don't need to put a screwdriver and pry it apart. You're just going to pull, right? Pull, and you're going to see how that comes apart. These come apart easy. They're not hard. See how that's coming apart right there? Okay, but you don't want to just pull it, yank it all apart. There's 2 cables in here that have to be gently unplugged. So when you open it up, you're going to see there's one of the ribbon cables right there that have to be unplugged. And what I generally do is I take a really small flathead screwdriver like this, and I go into where the cable is, and there's 2 little plastic things you gotta prop up, and then you're going to be able to pull that cable out. See, that cable is now out. So those 2 little plastic things pop up. That locks the cable in, and you're gonna have to lock those back down when you put it back together as well. So hopefully you can see that. Trying to show you guys. So let's go ahead and move on to the other cable. This other cable has to do with the speaker, and it's just a 2-wire cable. It's nothing too fancy. You could pull it out with your fingers, and it just pops right out. Then this thing's apart. That's it. So let's take a look at the main board. Give you guys a nice close look at that. There's the main board right there. All right. And what you're going to see is there's the LEDs. You got your Wi-Fi antennas. You've got your, well, the LEDs are right here. Sorry, you got LEDs, your Wi-Fi antennas, and you've got some capacitors and the main processor. Now you notice the main processor has some heat transfer tape there. That's the main processor. That's going to transfer heat through to this heat sink right here. That's how this is designed to dissipate the heat. It dissipates the heat through this heat sink. Underneath here is obviously going to be, you know, a speaker of sorts and microphone. I think that there is actually some ventilation here as well to help vent heat out from the processor. So that's going to be very important for it to be kept cool. There is no fan, so it's nice and quiet and such. I'm not going to take this apart anymore. There are 4 screws. This heatsink does come off, and you know, to expose the rest of that. If somebody wants to see that, I guess we could take it apart. Why not? This is a teardown video after all, right? Let's go ahead and take these screws off. Screws. So let's pull this off. And as you can see, like I said, underneath there is a speaker. So there's your speaker. And there is some more heat transfer tape here. I think that's just this heat transfer tape, but there's no heat. That's all plastic. So I'm not sure why it would need heat transfer tape there. It's not transferring heat from the speaker. It's kind of an interesting design, though. You can see the speaker's right there in the middle. And so it transfers heat. This is a heat sink that's actually transferring heat from the processor. Maybe they're using the speaker as not just a speaker, but also a part of a heat sink to continue to dissipate heat. That would be an interesting design. I guess it could work. I don't know. I'm not an engineer, so I can't tell you exactly if that's why they designed it that way or not. But we're going to go ahead and get this put back together. Actually, I want a little different screwdriver. Get this tightened down good. So very interesting design. Now we're going to put this back together, and you guys can see that this does not come apart hard. I wouldn't recommend you doing it without the proper tools and actually knowing really what you're doing. See, I do this every day for a living, taking apart electronics, laptops, PC computers, etc. So that's what I've done for 30 years. So I'm not your average Joe doing a teardown on this. I've taken apart enough electronics in my day to know about that. So now we're gonna put this back together, and I put that heatsink on so you can see the speaker, full teardown, and then we're going to go ahead and put this back together. A lot of people may not care about what this looks like inside. I know I did, and this is going to take me a minute to get these cables back hooked up. Get my reading glasses on. It's what happens when you get older. To see things close up, you need glasses, unfortunately. Right there. Lock the plastic tabs down all the way. Make sure that cable is in. And then plug this in. And then we're going to put this back together. The 2 cables have been plugged in, and we are putting that back together. All that's left to do now is to put the 4 screws back in. And like I said, the heat sinks in there, dissipate the heat and make this thing run good. One of the things that could be done on this is you could actually add like heatsink compound to maybe even make it transfer heat better instead of that heat transfer tape. That's a common thing that a lot of people do. A lot of technicians don't really like the heat transfer tape. And when it comes right down to it, but then that's dealing with really components that get really hot. Processors, video cards with GPUs, they see this heat transfer tape and they're just like, nah, let's get all that out of there. Let's put some good heat sink compound like this right here. I use all the time on all kinds of different computers. Drop the heat sink compound. You know what? I just thought this would be a different take on this. Because look, we've all seen the unboxings. The unboxings are coming left and right and big time. But to actually have the tools and the wherewithal and the confidence to actually pull this thing apart and show you it inside, that's a different level. That's a different level. Anybody can do an unboxing video and talk about the specs and just show you the box. Going to be a ton of those coming. Not just anybody can take it apart and talk to you professionally about the electronics inside and why it's designed that way and you can see how well it's designed inside. That way you can see, hey, is this a cheap box? And look, it's all back together. There's the bottom. Completely torn apart, put back together and working. Well, I don't know. I'll have to go plug it in and find out. I'm pretty sure it's going to work, guys. Not too worried about that. It's not my first rodeo when it comes to that kind of stuff. So yeah, you guys, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to this teardown video. And tell me what you think of this box. If you own one, if you've gotten one, or if you're planning to get one, I would like to know if you think it's a good box. I do. I just programmed the first one yesterday for myself, and I actually really liked it. And I'll be giving a more thorough opinion of this box with more detailed information about pros and cons, about things that maybe aren't the greatest about this box and things that are great about this box. So hey, tune in for the next video. You guys have a great night. Talk to you in the next one. Hey guys, this was Mr. On Demand, and this was a Mr. On Demand production. And if you liked this video, please hit a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, let me know down below, and I'll go ahead and get back to you on a comment back, and hopefully you'll help me make my videos better. Also guys, if you want to subscribe to my channel, hit that subscribe button right over here. If you want to watch some more of my great videos, check them out right below. Also, hit that bell icon to get notified every time I put a new video up, so you guys can always know what the new information I have to offer is. This was Mr. On Demand, and as always, stick with me and get it for free.